these are going to be my Premier League predictions for match week 24. We have seen some twists and turns last weekend, Things are literally heating up in the title race, even the relegation battle down at the bottom, and including the race for Europe as well. Don't forget to drop a like, comment down below, and make sure you guys follow up for more content, which I will be posting, daily. Let's get straight into it. The first game on Saturday afternoon, we got Brighton facing Everton. A proper, mid-table clash, 12th place versus 10th place. Brighton will be coming into this game on the back of a loss to Fulham. They've only picked up 1 win and 3 draws in their last 5 games, though. Everton, on the other hand, they've picked up 2 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss in their last 5 games. They will be coming into this game on the back of a 1-1 draw against Leeds United, though. This is a hard one to predict, though, I can't lie. Brighton, they do have the home advantage, and the South Coast is a hard place to go. So I'm just going to edge this to Brighton, I'll be honest. I'm going to go for a score prediction of Brighton 2, Everton 1. Next up, we got Leeds United up against Arsenal. Now, let's talk about Arsenal, because look, Arsenal, there's something wrong with them right now. Because look, whenever Arsenal don't feel the pressure, they seem, to actually, get hold of it. But whenever they are under pressure, they always crumble. Like, for example, if Man City, Aston Villa win a game, then all the pressure is probably on Arsenal. And yet Arsenal eventually crumble, which probably, like most people say, they always do, though. And look, Arsenal currently right now, they haven't won in their last 3 Premier League games. They've lost against Manchester United last time out at home, where they have conceded all 3 goals, which was surprising to see, though. And apparently Arsenal are only 4 points clear at the top right now. And look, this is going to be a very tough fixture for them. Arsenal overall, they have won 8 out of 8 in the Champions League for the first time, in that competition as well, though. But in the Premier League is probably what's most important, for Arsenal, if they want to have any chances of actually winning the Premier League title this season, though. This is going to be a very hard game for them, because look, Leeds United have been doing alright, in recent weeks, though. Just only 1 loss in 10 Premier League games in their last 10 Premier League games. And yeah, Leeds have been doing okay. They've picked up a draw against Everton away from home, and look, I can't lie, at Ellen Road is a very hard place to go. And Leeds would fancy their chances in this game, though. But I feel like this is just, important for Arsenal to at least, keep their, sustain their, position, at the top, maintain their lead. So I'm going to go for a score prediction of Leeds 1, Arsenal 2, just. The next game is between Wolves and they face Bournemouth. Wolves, look, they were 5 games unbeaten, in all competitions, though, until they've met Manchester City and lost 2-0. And Wolves literally currently sit 20th place. They've lost now 17 games all season now for Wolves. And look, I don't see how Wolves are actually going to make it out of this, to be fair. I mean, they're pretty much, confirmed as relegation, going to the Championship. It's pretty much been, said, months ago. Bournemouth, on the other hand, have been, improving in their last 3 games. 2 wins and 1 draw in their last 3. They've beaten Liverpool with a Amin Adli last-minute goal with the last kick of the game to give Bournemouth all 3 points, man. I can't lie. Look, Bournemouth have done very well. Even though without Semenyo, though, they do find a way to score goals out of nowhere. And I think they'll continue that goal-scoring, thing in this game as well. I'm going to go for a score prediction of Wolves 0, Bournemouth 3. Next up on Saturday night, we got Chelsea up against West Ham. Now, things have been looking very fantastic under Liam Rosenior. Chelsea have been playing great under this new manager that they have right now. Liam Rosenior has now picked up 5 wins in 6 games in charge as Chelsea manager. And Chelsea currently sit in 5th place, which is only, 1 point behind the top 4, though. And Chelsea did pick up a big win during midweek in the Champions League, where they won 3-2 against Napoli. João Pedro was cooking in that game, man, I can't lie. Though West Ham, on the other hand, look, West Ham have now picked up back-to-back games this season. Right now, they've beaten Sunderland. They were brilliant in the first half in that game, by the way. And look, can West Ham actually, keep building the momentum if they won't have any ambition or any chance of staying up? They're only 5 points off safety, though, to be fair, and they still sit 18th right now. But I can't lie, away from home, a draw, it wouldn't be the worst result for West Ham, though. But I can't lie, this is going to be a tough game for them. And Chelsea, I think Chelsea will keep on, getting that winning mentality back in their hands right now. So I'm going to go for a score prediction of Chelsea 3, West Ham 0. Next up, we got Liverpool up against Newcastle. This is going to be an interesting game, this one at Anfield. Now look, both of these two teams will be coming off into this game, on the back of a loss in the Premier League. Though Newcastle lost to Aston Villa and Liverpool have lost 3-2 to Bournemouth, where Liverpool were, I believe, 13 games unbeaten, and that came to an end in dramatic fashion. That was obviously Newcastle, on the other hand, they've lost to Aston Villa 2-0, and they failed to score in both of those games as well. Though this is 6th place versus 9th place right now. Both of these two teams obviously did pick up and very important good results in the Champions League. Liverpool beating Karabakh 6-0, and they are through to the round of 16. They finished in the top 8, and Newcastle have drawn against PSG, which Newcastle were actually very good in that game, to be fair, and they have secured themselves a playoff spot in that game as well. And look, this is going to be a hard one to call, though. Obviously, both teams look a bit out of form right now, and I'll be honest, I'm going to go for a score prediction of Liverpool 1, Newcastle 1. Next up on Super Sunday afternoon, we got Aston Villa, and they face Brentford. Aston Villa will be coming into the game of a big 3 points away at Newcastle, winning at St James's Park for the first time in 20 years, I believe, though. And Aston Villa, they sit 4 points behind Arsenal right now, and I think they can be in a title race, though, if they can go all the way up until May. And they're also in the round of 16 in the Europa League as well. So I think they probably might have a good chance of going far in that competition, though. Who knows, they might potentially win that Europa League, though, with the quality that they have and due to the amount of fantastic players that they have in their squad. Brentford, on the other hand, I think Brentford have lost back-to-back games by 2-0 scorelines, though. And look, this is going to be a very tough game for Brentford, though, to be fair. I mean, Brentford, they are in 8th place right now, which I suppose that many people would expect them to finish, that high coming towards the end of the season. But I feel like at Villa Park, though, look, Aston Villa may have only lost 2 home games this season, though, but then again, I think Aston Villa will be up for this game, to be honest. So I'm going to go for a score prediction of Aston Villa 2, Brentford 0. Next up, we got Manchester United versus Fulham. Now, Manchester United will be coming into this game on the back of a huge 3 points away at Arsenal. And also, we've beaten the top 2 in Man City and Arsenal under Michael Carrick, though. I think Michael Carrick has already come in and he's done very well so far at Manchester United now. And look, I'm hearing a lot of United fans saying that they're probably more scared of Fulham than Arsenal, though. And I'll be honest, I agree with them because look, Fulham is probably our biggest test. Don't get me wrong, Fulham are a very good side, under Marco Silva. Bear in mind, Fulham are only 7th place right now in the league, and they're only literally 2 points off top the 6 right now. 2 points off the European spots right now. And look, Fulham will fancy their chances in this game, though, and they do tend to, play a bit of a low block, which Manchester United do struggle against, though, these days. And look, this is obviously going to be a tough game in my opinion, though, because Fulham, they're a team that just, likes to do a low block, and that's what, United do tend to struggle against, though. But in terms of how Manchester United play, we love to play that free-flowing attacking football where we can get space in and around the areas in the opposition though. And I think that's what Carrick absolutely wants from this Manchester United team. Present, free-flow football and counter-attack. And I think we can actually do it in this game. I believe we got the players that we can actually do it though. Look, whoever steps up, will probably, be having a good game in my opinion. So I'm going to go for a score prediction of Manchester United 3, Fulham 1. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually drop points to them. Because look, Fulham, they are a good side though. I feel like we just need that bit of winning momentum now. Next up, we got Nottingham Forest up against Crystal Palace. 17th place versus 15th place. This is a massive game down at the bottom. Forest are currently 5 points clear of safety of the relegation zone right now. And look, Nottingham Forest did, beat Brentford last weekend, and they've also beaten Ferencváros in the Europa League and secured themselves a playoff spot in our competition as well. Crystal Palace, on the other hand, they are actually a mess right now. They've lost Mark Guehi. They're about to lose their manager at the end of the season. Apparently, Mateta could possibly leave Crystal Palace. And they've also got the likes of Adam Wharton suspended for this game. So, yeah, Crystal Palace is a mess right now at this stage. And look, it's a difficult one to predict. Both teams have been a bit, up and down. Their form hasn't been the greatest overall. So, I'm going to go for a score prediction of Nottingham Forest 2, Crystal Palace 1. Up next, we got the big one, the biggest game of the weekend on Super Sunday night from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where we got Tottenham Hotspur facing Manchester City, 14th place versus 2nd in the Premier League. Now, obviously, this is a huge game though. Manchester City could possibly have the chance to close the gap to at least 1 point in this title race. They picked up a win last weekend against Wolves, a much needed 3 points, and they've also picked up a win during the midweek in the Champions League against Galatasaray, as they have reached automatic qualification. They are through to the round of 16 though. Tottenham, now look, Tottenham are just the weirdest team that I've just seen this season. I mean, we all know they're absolutely rubbish in the Premier League though. They're only 8 points off relegation, by the way. But somehow they're actually, doing very well in the Champions League. They sit 4th in the Champions League and they've literally qualified through to the round of 16. Like, who would have thought that would happen literally from the start of that competition? Like, would it be deja vu where Tottenham finish 17th or possibly would they get relegated and win the Champions League though? Like, let that sink in though. I mean, but all jokes aside though, look, Frank is possibly, under pressure though. Tottenham have been picking up some wins in the Champions League, to ease the pressure of Frank. But look, they're currently 5 Premier League games in a row without a win. Spurs haven't even won a game since December 2025. And look, Spurs against City, they do tend to turn up. Spurs are City's bogey team right now. And look, they could fancy their chances in this game though. However, they're at home though. Literally, their home record is absolutely horrible. Plus, Man City would fancy their chances in this game, to be fair. And look, Spurs do tend to turn up in the game though. I actually think there could be a draw in this game, let's be fair. So, I'm going to go for a score prediction of Tottenham 2, Manchester City 2. And then finally, on Monday night, we got Sunderland and they face Burnley. Now, Burnley have picked up 3 draws in a row in their last 3 games, though. Those draws have been very good results for them in a relegation battle. They've only picked up 15 points all season long, and they sit 19th right now. They've picked up draws against United, Liverpool, and Spurs, though. However, Burnley will be desperate in need of 3 points at this stage right now. Because look, Burnley haven't even won a game since October, literally. And they're currently 14 games in a row without a win. Sunderland, on the other hand, Sunderland have only had 1 win in their last 5 Premier League games. They got absolutely pumped by West Ham last weekend, though. However, Sunderland do remain the only team unbeaten at home at the Stadium of Light, though, to be fair. And look, Burnley, I think Burnley, like, in terms of the way they play, they know how to actually stay in the game. They do not give up. They keep on fighting. And that's exactly what they need in this relegation battle right now. I feel like at home, Sunderland, though, they have been, really strong at home recently. And I think they'll just about get the 3 points in this game. I'm going to go for a score prediction of Sunderland 1, Burnley 0. And that wraps up my Premier League predictions for this weekend. And before I wrap up the video, I'm going to show you guys something. I'm going to show you how the Premier League table is looking based on, my predictions, based on my results here. You see, we've got Arsenal extending their lead, Aston Villa going up to second, Man City dropping down to fourth place, Manchester United, move further into the top four, Chelsea in fifth, Liverpool in sixth place, Sunderland move up into seventh place, Newcastle in 8th place, Fulham in 9th, Brighton 10th, 11th is Brentford in 11th, Bournemouth in 12th place, Everton in, 13th place, Tottenham just about climbing up one place, they're in 14th, Palace in 15th, Forest in 16th, Leeds United dropped down to 17th, and the relegation zone is still West Ham, Burnley and Wolves right now. Yeah, that's the end of this video, and that wraps up my Premier League predictions. Don't forget to like, comment down below your score predictions for this weekend, and let me know what you guys think, and make sure you guys follow up for more. Cheers.